Welcome, late-night listeners, to Paranormal Nightshift, the show where the veil between the living and the dead grows thin, where shadows hold stories waiting to be told, and where the silence of night is anything but empty. I'm your host, Gideon, and I'll be your guide as we step into the eerie, the unexplained, and the downright spine-tingling. Each week, we invite you to pull up a chair beside the fire, because these tales, they don't come from books, they come from you, real people, real encounters, real moments that change everything. But before we dive headfirst into tonight's chilling story, I've got something special waiting for you. Head over to paranormalnightshift.com and grab your free copy of The Birth of Dimensional Desperado, the first ebook in our new time-bending paranormal series. Meet Buck, Shadow Sheriff Freeman, a lone investigator armed with grit, ghost sense, and a belt that bends time. His journey through haunted timelines begins there, and trust me, you'll want to be along for the ride. Now, let's return to the darkness. Tonight's tale is more than a haunting. It's a reckoning, a message from beyond that comes not with fear, but with a heartbreak decades deep. It comes from one of our listeners, Rowan, whose story reminds us that some spirits don't linger to scare, they linger to heal. This is I'm Sorry. April 2016, my 21st birthday month. What should have been a celebration, freedom, adulthood, finally being grown, turned out to be the darkest chapter of my life. My birthday is April 12th. Usually there's cake, family, maybe a small get-together. But that year, from the 12th to the 22nd, I didn't speak to my mother. She'd disowned me. It wasn't said in so many words, but her tone, her silence, the look in her eyes, I wasn't her son anymore. She treated me like I was some sort of criminal or addict, like I'd done something unforgivable. I can't even remember what started it. Maybe a misunderstanding, maybe hurt on both sides, but the pain was real. That silence hung in the air like a storm cloud, and it followed me everywhere. And then came April 22nd. The day started like any other. Rain, heavy, like the sky itself was grieving. Sheets of it. Thunder growled over the rooftops. It was the kind of rain that made you want to stay under a blanket and forget the world. But I had plans. I was picking up my brother from college and visiting my girlfriend, now my fiancée, at her mother's house. As my brother and I left the campus, we both felt it. Unease. Nothing specific. Just off. That gnawing sense that something was about to change. I dropped him off at home and headed to my fiancée's place. Her mother welcomed me in. She was kind and warm, always asking about my family, and right in the middle of asking how my mother was doing, my phone rang. Caller ID, Mom. I froze. We hadn't spoken in 10 days. My heart skipped. I answered, her voice frantic. Rowan, you must come home now. That was it. No explanation. Just urgency. I didn't think much of it. Maybe something finally broke the silence between us. Maybe she was ready to talk. I got to the house, parked and walked through the rain-soaked yard toward the back entrance. Our maid's room was off to the side, and she spotted me. She stepped out into the drizzle, her eyes red and her face pale. Rowan, the miss is dead. I stopped, my breath caught. I didn't know what to think. I didn't want to think. Number. She probably meant something else, a bad joke, a misunderstanding. But the seed was planted, and the moment I stepped inside, I heard the crying. It was coming from my mother's bedroom. I walked down the hall. My body felt heavy, like the air had thickened. In her room, I saw my oldest brother to the left, my youngest on the right, clutching her phone in shaking hands. My father was near the bed, hunched forward, his back to me, and there she was, still, unmoving. Her chest didn't rise, her eyes didn't flutter, no breath, no life. My father and brothers tried to hold me back, but I reached for her anyway, and in that moment, I knew she was gone. The days that followed were filled with grief, paperwork, funerals, and silence. My father had to return overseas for work not long after, leaving just me and my brothers in the house. But the emptiness wasn't just emotional. There was something else in that house, something still present. One night I woke up around 3 a.m. My bedroom door was wide open. I knew I'd closed it. A faint white light spilled into the hallway, not harsh like a bulb, but soft, glowing, almost like moonlight with a pulse. The light was coming from my mother's bedroom. I got up and walked toward it. When I stepped into her room, the light intensified, not blinding but bright enough to make everything shimmer slightly. In the corner of the room, at the source of that light, stood a figure. I couldn't make it out at first, but as I stepped closer, the form began to take shape. It turned. It was her, my mother, but not as I remembered her at the end. She looked vibrant. Her skin glowed with a strange warmth. Her hair, long, blonde, shining, flowed over her shoulders. She wore a white gown that seemed to ripple like water. Her eyes met mine. She looked at me, not with judgment, not with sorrow, just pain. Then she spoke. "I'm sorry." That was all. 2 words, but they shattered something inside me. She stepped forward. I didn't move. I couldn't. She reached out and gently placed her hand against my chest. And just like that, my knees gave out. It was as if all the energy, all the guilt, all the grief I hadn't yet processed just collapsed inside me. I fell to the floor, sobbing. She bent over and rested her hand on my head. Again, she whispered, "I'm sorry." It wasn't scary. It was haunting, yes, but it was also the most raw, vulnerable moment I'd ever experienced. Because in life, she never said those words to me. Not once. And it didn't stop there. Every night, for days, sometimes weeks, she returned. Always when the house was still, she'd come to my room, stand by my bed, and sometimes sit quietly in the corner like a mother watching over her child. She never spoke more than those 2 words. "I'm sorry." But that was enough. She never visited my brothers, never appeared to my father, just me. And even after I moved out, after I built a new life, got engaged, and found peace, she still came. Not in the physical way she had before, but in dreams. In moments of deep exhaustion or emotional overwhelm, I'd hear her voice again, see her face, feel that hand on my chest. "I'm sorry." I think now, looking back, she couldn't leave until she said what she never had in life. That unfinished emotion, that fractures between us, it tied her here, to me. But I don't fear her. I think she just wanted to be a mother again, even if only from the other side. Now that I'm older, I don't cry when I hear her voice. I listen, and I whisper back, "I forgive you." And that brings us to the end of tonight's journey into the shadows. Rowan, thank you for opening your heart and sharing such a personal and powerful experience with us. I'm Sorry isn't just a story about a haunting. It's a story about reconciliation, grief, and the lingering ties that connect us to those we've loved and lost. It reminds us that sometimes the dead don't return to frighten us. They return to finish what life never let them say. If you felt the chill in Rowan's story, or maybe even a tear, you can help us keep the darkness alive by supporting the show. Join us on Patreon for an ad-free experience, early access to future episodes, and exclusive content including deep dives into the Dimensional Desperado series. Patreon members also receive bonus content, shout-outs, and more. You won't want to miss out. Not ready to join the crew on Patreon? That's okay. You can still show your support by subscribing to Paranormal Nightshift on Spotify and YouTube. And while you're there, leave a comment. Tell us how Rowan's story affected you. Have you ever had a loved one reach out from beyond the veil? We read every message, and your stories and thoughts shape the heartbeat of this show. Don't forget to visit paranormalnightshift.com to grab your free copy of The Birth of Dimensional Desperado, the first book in our supernatural time travel saga, Buck Shadow Sheriff. Freeman's journey is just beginning, and you'll want to be there for every ghost, glitch, and Ghost Forge bullet along the way. And finally, if you have a story of your own, don't let it fade into silence. Head over to paranormalnightshift.com and submit your experience, whether it's a whisper in the dark, a presence at the foot of your bed, or a message from someone long gone. We're ready to listen. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, some apologies echo long after the voice is gone.